Hey, this is Jeffrey with Music City Green Team. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. We cover the basics of lawn care. We also have some extra feeds in there for contractors for their teams to kind of watch and train. So this one is when and how often. The first one we covered what is aeration. The second we covered why it's critical. And this one is really when. And this is the most controversial, and here's why. Because if you watch all of the blogs, if you read all the blogs and you watch all those with YouTube channels, they'll come at you with two different mindsets primarily, but what you have to notice is where these people are based. So somebody that is doing lawn care or taking care of the yard in Pennsylvania, or honestly anywhere north of Kentucky, and if you go across the United States, sort of the other side of Texas, it gets really dry. It's a whole different climate. So aeration has a different thing. So I'm really focused on what I do here in Middle Tennessee, which is really one of the largest segments of the United States as far as our zones go and when you would aerate. So there is a difference. The reason when is important is because of the what. What is aeration? Well, aeration loosens the soil. So most would propose, or many would propose, that you aerate in November or in the fall when most of the rainy season's gone, and that's fine. But what happens when you aerate that time of year is if you seed it, everything lays dormant, and because there's not enough rain, those holes just stay open. And what's likely to happen in an open hole in your yard is who thrives more in bad weather? Weeds tend to thrive more, and so weeds will actually take root. It might not be a good idea. However, many would say that if you started at the growing season, you've already missed your opportunity. So it's really a matter of you doing your homework, finding out when to do it. So I'm just gonna make my recommendation, but please, it's always up to the client and the customer when they do it, if they do their homework. Most people, especially people with PhDs behind their name, and especially those in this particular part and zone of the country, would recommend that you aerate right before growing season happens, because you're gonna open up the soil. You're not gonna give a chance for weeds to take. You can overseed it, and then as soon as the grass starts growing, it finds those holes quickly. It loosens up the soil as the dirt fills in those holes, and you start to have a beautiful yard in the spring. So that's when it should happen, when during the year. Two trains of thought. Late in the fall or mid-fall, which might make sense in more moderate climates, maybe even up north where they're gonna have a really long winter, and sometimes the growing season just appears. Or here in the middle of the country, and where most places would recommend, is right before the growing season. And we can often tell, hey, the flowers just started blooming, like that's probably a little too late to aerate, but you've got a 3 or 4 week window where it's perfect to get the holes plugged in. How often? That depends also on your climate. So aeration is about loosening tough soil. If you have a very moderate climate that gets all 4 seasons, you really only need to aerate maybe every 2 or 3 years. If you live up north where they have a compacted soil that's frozen for 4 or 5 months out of the year, or if you live out west where they have more of sandy or rocky soil, you really only you probably need to aerate about every year, because it's going to get compacted more quickly. So those are the two trains of thought, but you as a customer have to decide what's best for you.